Hey everybody, it's Miss Smith. So today I'm going to start off showing you what to do with this document that I'm going to have you fill out today. So I do want to tell you, this is another one that you put the right answers in, and it shows you a picture. If the picture is not complete, you do not get all of the points. This is where 20 points going to go in the grade book, really easy grade. But this is the reviewing for the quiz that you have tomorrow. So now the first thing that is an issue is this is huge. Okay, so you're going to have to zoom out while you're on, and let me pull up Google Sheets real quick. So you're going to have to zoom out on the computer. And so normally it's like up in the left-hand corner on one of the toolbars. Normally, let's say like 100% or something like that. This is best viewed at 50%. Some of you figured that out last time. Some of you did not, and you missed half of the questions. This time you can't even see the picture unless you zoom out on it. Now, you're not going to zoom out on the actual page itself, like the web page. You're zooming out on the document, not just the web page. So I'm not quite sure how to do this on my iPad. But if you're on your computer, it'll be somewhere in this area, right where this B is. It'll be somewhere in this area. Somewhere kind of right above there, you'll see something that says 100%. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my notes real quick. We're going to review how to balance equations. So let's go back up to, these were several problems ago. Here are all the steps. So remember, the first step is always to write it down. Now, you will be allowed to use your notes in your quiz tomorrow. So yeah, you can use your little sheet protector, your makeshift whiteboard. Please use that. I know that makes everything easier for you. Please use that. So the first step, got to write that formula down, that equation down. Step 2, list all elements you see and then tally up how many you've got on either side. Step 3, choose a coefficient that balances it out. And then step 4, check yourself. Now, tips and tricks that I reminded you about, it says only use coefficients when balancing. You will never, ever, ever, ever change the subscripts as the numbers at the bottom. And then try to leave your oxygens and hydrogens last. So I'm going to balance a couple of these on your document that I'm having you work on today. And so this is, the reason why I assigned this is because it is self-checking. Basically, if it doesn't light up on the picture, you're not correct. Okay? So let me open this up again. So the first one is Cl2, NaBr, NaCl, and Br2. Okay, so here's the picture over here. Oh, look, I zoomed out. Here's the picture here. It'll show up on this big right side. So let's write this down. Step 1, I've got Cl2 plus NaBr yields NaCl and Br2. I wrote that kind of big. So let's try this again. So Cl2 plus NaBr yields NaCl, there we go, plus Br2. Okay, so hopefully when you're doing these videos, you're watching my videos, go ahead and pause, try to do this. This is actually very, very simple. So go ahead and pause. I'm going to go ahead and go through this. See if you can do it without me. And then, when you think you've got it, turn my video back on to see if you're correct. All right, so the first step is to write it down. We did that. Step 2, write down all the elements you see. I see chlorine, I see sodium, I see bromine. Now, I've gotten so good at balancing equations that I don't actually have to do this in these really simple ones. I can actually balance this in my head because I've balanced so many times. This one's fairly simple, but if you've still got to write it down, not a problem. Do what you got to do. So we've got... we're looking at chlorine. We got to get all these ones on the right and get all the ones on the left. So let's start with chlorine first. I've got chlorine here, and that's going to be 2. I have chlorine here. That's 1. Sodium on the left, I have 1. Sodium on the right, I have 1. Bromine on the left is 1, and bromine on the right is 1. Okay, so, excuse me, bromine on the right is 2. All right, so sodium's balanced, so I'm going to leave it alone, but chlorine's messed up and bromine's messed up. So it really doesn't matter on this particular one what you start with. Normally I like for you to leave oxygen and hydrogen last just because they sometimes get really messed up or sometimes they may fix themselves. So I'm going to start with chlorine. That's what I did first. So I'm going to put a 2 here. Excuse me, that is not correct. I'm going to put a 2 on this side. Now, that's a common mistake that people make, so I'm glad that I made this in the video. The way that I've taught this in the past is you need these two to be equal to each other. You can't fix the low one. Excuse me, you can't fix the high one, so you have to fix the low one. So this is the low side, so that means we need to fix the chlorine on the right side. The low side is on the right, so that means we need to fix the chlorine on the right. So that's why I put a 2 there. So this 2 goes for the sodium and it goes for the chlorine. All right, so now I messed up my sodium. So let's go fix my sodium. So the left side is now low, so I'm going to put a 2 here. So that 2 goes for the sodium and the 2 goes for the bromine. And now I'm balanced. So I've got a 1 here and a 1 there. So it is 1, 2, 2, 1. So let's go back to my sheet here. So that first one, the first box with the Cl2 is going to be a 1. We said 1, 2, 2, 1. So I'm in this box here, put a 2 there. And then this box here is a 2. And then this box here is a 1. So if they are correct, some things lit up on the picture over here. So they are correct. All right, so let's work on another one. Let's see if we can do one that's a little bit harder. I like this number 8, C3H8. Combustions are difficult. So let's do that, C3H8. All right, C3H8 reacts with oxygen gas to yield CO2 and H2O. Now, here's the issue. I already knew that my products are going to be CO2 and H2O. On my sheet, it could have been, and you have to watch this, this could have been H2O and CO2. They could have been flipped, so you got to keep an eye out for that. All right, so we're going to list everything that we see. So I see carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. I've got a 3 and 1, 8 and 2, 2 and 3. Remember, I've got oxygen in 2 places here, so that means that's the only time I'm going to add them. So there's 2 here and 1 here. That's how I got this 3. All right, so remember, try to leave oxygen and oxygen and hydrogen last. They normally fix themselves. So let's try to fix carbon. So I need to fix the low side, so that's going to be the right side. So I'm going to put a 3 here, and that 3 goes for the carbon and it goes for this oxygen. So that's 3 carbon, and now that becomes 7 oxygen. Now here's why it did that. Okay, remember this, 2 times 3 is 6. So I got 6 there plus the 1 more right there. 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, so then we fixed our carbons. Oxygen looks really terrible, so I'm going to leave that one alone. Hydrogen looks like I could probably fix that one fairly quickly, so let's see if we can fix hydrogen. So I have 8 hydrogens on the left. My low side is the right side. Got to fix the right side. So I'm going to put a 4 here. Well, that 4 goes for the oxygen and the hydrogen, so that makes it 8 hydrogen. And this is going to be 4. So before, if I looked at this 3 and this O2, that was 6 oxygens. Plus 4 times 1 is going to be 4. So I now have a total of 10 oxygens. And so all that's left is to balance the low side now. And that would be a 5 because I already have a 2 there. 2 times 5 is 10, which is what I need on both sides. So that is correct. Now remember that if you have it balanced and you have a blank, remember to put a 1. So we've got 1, 5, 3, 4. Okay, so this box here, 1, 5, 3, and 4. All right, and we are correct. It's filling things in. All right, when you get done with this, I'm going to do one more, but when you get done with this, there's going to be a picture that's revealed. And in this bottom section here, this yellow section, that's where you'll answer the mystery question. And so it's okay to use Google to answer that question. It's actually introducing a new concept. So anyway, let's do one more. I really like number 13. So MgSO4 and Na3PO4. Okay, so MgSO4, I think that's what I said. MgSO4, Na3PO4, Na3PO4. yields Mg3PO4 2 this is not, let me write this a little smaller, MgSO4 plus Na3PO4 yields, let's see, Mg3PO4 2 plus Na2SO4. Okay, that one is a doozy, okay? But we do get to use one of the shortcuts on here, which is great. Because, and here's the shortcut, if I have an SO4 here and also an SO4 over here, technically I can keep that together. And so I can also do it with the PO4 here and the PO4 here. Now, here is the problem that everybody makes. They'll do Mg, they'll do SO, they'll do Na, and they'll do PO. They forget about these 4s. Remember, the subscripts stay, okay? If that subscript is attached and it's not outside the parentheses, that subscript stays, all right? So I've got 1 and 3, 1 because if you look at PO4, this is actually 2 of them. That's why there's a parentheses there. This doesn't have parentheses around it, so that's only 1. Sodium is 3 and 2. PO4 is 1 and 2. Okay, so I'll just say this. Try to leave the PO4s alone. Like PO4 and SO4, try to leave those that are grouped together alone and try to work on the others first. So let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so I like to look at, I'm going to look at Mg. So I'm going to fix the low side. So that needs to be a 3. So I'm going to put a 3 there. So that gives me 3 magnesiums and 3 SO4s. Well, I messed up my SO4s, so let's see if we can fix the SO4 nonsense. I'm going to put a 3 here because this is a low side that I need to fix. So that makes that 3, and it makes my sodium 6. All right, well, so my magnesium's balanced, sulfate's balanced, my sodium's messed up, and my potassium's still messed up. So I need to fix this low side of sodium, so I'm going to put a 2 there to fix that, and that makes that 6, and makes my PO4 2. And that was balanced. So this is 3, 2, 1, 3. All right. 3, 2, 1, 3. Okay, so the only other thing that I did not talk about, so look at our picture now. We've got a bunch of stuff in there. The only thing else that I didn't talk about was tomorrow in your quiz, you're also going to have to identify reaction types. So let's go through this real quick. So number 1, I'm actually going to go through all of these just to kind of remind you what they look like and why they are the way they are. So number 1, that is a single element. Technically, it's a diatomic element reacting with a compound, so that's going to be single. Same thing with number 2, that's an element reacting with a compound, that's single. Number 3, element reacting with a compound, that's single. Even though it says Cl2, it's still technically single because that's considered to be an element reacting with a compound. It's called a diatomic element. Okay, number 4, that is one compound breaking down into 2 things, so that's decomposition. Number 5, that is 2 compounds reacting, so that is double displacement. Number 6, those are 2 compounds, that's also double displacement. Number 7, we have a single element in a compound, so that is single displacement. Number 8 is CO2, excuse me, it creates CO2 and H2O. You react to oxygen gas with a hydrocarbon. That's always, always, always combustion. Number 9, I have 2 elements. Those are diatomic elements reacting to create one compound. That is synthesis. Number 10 and number 11, both are one thing breaking down into 2 parts. That's decomposition. Number 12 is 2 compounds. That's double displacement. Number 13 is 2 compounds to double displacement. 14, 15, and 16 are also double displacement. Okay, so if you have any issues, if you need any help, if you need some kind of tutoring, we can do video calls, whatever you've got to do. But this is a big quiz, so please make sure that you understand how to do this. All right, have a great day.